Hello. It is not morning, so I'm not gonna say good morning to you. I typically do start my videos in the morning, but it is actually like 3 or 4 p.m. right now. I better just get started on this video. I've been putting it off way too long. The past couple of days, even just the past week has been really hard on me mentally, and I've been feeling really sick. Needless to say, I have not been up to filming, but I know it needs to be done. So I am sipping my pomegranate iced tea. This video is about how I lost weight intuitively. I have never counted calories for longer than like a week, maybe 2. It's just not something I can be consistent with. I've never counted macros for more than 2 weeks, but I was still able to go from this to this, and I did it all intuitively. It was a long learning process. If I could go back, there are a lot of things I would change. So I'm simply going to share the tips with you that ended up working for me in the end. But it's not the end, right? We are continually striving for health and wellness and fitness. So the very first thing I started doing was prioritizing the quality of foods that I was putting into my body versus quantity. We've all heard it, right? Like the way to lose weight is to exercise and be in a calorie deficit. I just, for the life of me, could not sustain the whole calorie counting thing. If you want a more in-depth explanation of this, you can go ahead and watch my video on reading nutrition labels. So that's a really detailed explanation of how I approach the quality of food. Basically, I mean, you've heard it, okay? You wanna eat whole foods, foods that are closest to their natural, just out of the ground state. I liked to prioritize the lowest amount of ingredients possible, or like the most natural ingredient. I never cut out any food group. I simply focused on, eating whole foods. So at the beginning of this like fitness, health, weight loss journey, I ate a lot of tuna / avocado toast. So I would get toast and put avocado and those like packets of tuna with like the different flavors or whatever. I'd get a flavored tuna packet, put it on top, sun-dried tomatoes, chili flakes, sprouts, the whole ordeal. Ordeal? Is that the word I'm looking for? The whole deal. And that is what I lived on in college. That is what I ate for lunch the majority of my days. I often ate smoothie bowls. I love a good smoothie bowl. It's been a while. Lots of fruit and spinach. I would put protein powder in it. I would get like the most natural granola I could find, or make my own granola, put it on top with some nuts and coconut flakes. And then for dinners, I kept it pretty simple. I would do like a pasta with chicken and marinara, or so that's not to say that you can't eat like any type of like packaged or canned good, but I definitely focused on whole foods, and when it wasn't a whole food, I focused on whole ingredients. I feel like focusing on the quality of my food and how I was fueling my body, what I was fueling my body with, really helped me have a good relationship with food, a healthy relationship with food, as well as fuel my body properly for the exercises that I was doing. All right, next up we have the workouts that I was doing. I feel like the workouts are what everybody looks for in like a YouTube or a TikTok or an Instagram channel. I personally think that the eating, the recipes, the food is the hardest part, but there is still a lot to be said for the workout portion of it. This can get really tricky because when it comes to workouts, everybody's bodies responds differently to different types of working out. However, I will say, if you are like me, if you are a woman with like crazy imbalanced hormones, then I'm just gonna tell you right now that lots of cardio probably isn't doing you any good. It's probably doing the opposite. I found out that I had crazy imbalanced hormones when I was a freshman or a sophomore in high school. I have been struggling to balance them ever since. I've made a lot of progress to where my periods are regular now. I'm not having hormonal migraines gains anymore, but I still do have a long way to go. If you're like me and you do have hormonal imbalances, then doing lots of cardio can actually raise your cortisol levels, which is a hormone, even more, and can just throw all of your goals out of whack because now your hormones are even worse. That's not to say that you shouldn't do cardio at all, but that being said, I'm not like a medical professional or anything, as I've done a ton, and I mean a ton, of research on hormones and things like that. I've met with hormone specialists and they all have actually told me the same thing, and that is not to do a ton of cardio because it puts too much stress on the body and your hormones. When I first started this journey, I started with running. I feel like a lot of women have the same story where they started out with cardio and maybe they started a crazy diet or they cut out a certain food group or they started counting calories, whatever it may be. I feel like a lot of women have that same story where they're like, yeah, I was dieting and doing cardio. It's just this super vicious cycle. I cut down my cardio to 3 HIIT workouts a week. I feel like this has helped me to kind of keep up my endurance and to get that heart rate going, keep up your cardiovascular health without spiking my cortisol levels and making my hormones go even more out of whack. There are some body types that thrive off of cardio. My husband's body is one of these. He sees the best results when he is doing a lot of cardio. Again, everybody's body is different. I'm just sharing what has worked for me, and that is cutting down the cardio, which honestly, I am not going to complain about. The next thing is lifting weights. I didn't start lifting weights until halfway through 2019. So what is that, like about 3 years? That is what did the most for me. I remember going to like reunions with friends. People would comment and like ask me how I was losing weight, how I was looking so good. Besides the whole like eating better portion, I do attribute it to lifting weights. Before that, I was like very soft. I didn't have a lot of definition anywhere. Lifting weights helped me not only to create definition, but I feel like it also helped me burn fat. So there is a difference between losing weight and losing fat. Running helped me to lose weight, like the number on the scale was going down, but it didn't necessarily help me to lose fat, which weightlifting did help me to do. And weightlifting is actually a great form of exercise if you have imbalanced hormones. Plus, it's also really great for your joints, muscle endurance, muscle strength. For the first 2 years of weightlifting, I did hypertrophy weightlifting. I actually started with more functional training with weights. I wasn't using machines or anything. I would just go over to the free weights, lunges with dumbbells and like bicep curls and like box jumps, things like that. So it definitely was a lot more functional. As I got more accustomed to the weights, I started to train more for strength. So I would lift like really heavy. So the next thing is I stopped restricting. 80% of this is a mindset more than it is an action. You can stop restricting and binge on candy every day. You know what I'm saying? It was more of a mindset shift of like, I can have this today, but it will still be there tomorrow. I kind of talked about this in my weight loss journey video where I grew up with a restricting, binging mindset. If you tell yourself like, hey, I'm gonna buy Oreos this week and it's okay if I eat them and they will still be there tomorrow. I can have some tonight and I can have some tomorrow and I can have some the next day. I can have them whenever the heck I want. This is such like a learned skill. This does not happen overnight. You can't just tell yourself that once and then immediately it stops the restricting and binging cycle. But as you learn, hey, I can have this and it will be there tomorrow, it really helps so much with balance. I think it's just like rewiring our brains and not guilting yourself around any type of food. Okay, consistency. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that we would be talking about this, and consistency, you might have heard this before, consistency is key. There is no way that you're going to see results or reach your goals or whatever if you're not consistent with these lifestyle changes. because they are lifestyle changes. You want to have these habits for the rest of your life, not just to have like a quick fix and lose weight in 3 weeks, or like whatever advertisements you see, like get abs in 2 weeks. That's not a thing. Another part of consistency is finding healthy recipes that you love. I have some on my Instagram, and I share them on this page as well. Find healthy foods that you love. You don't have to eat the healthy foods that you hate. One more tip I have under the whole consistency topic is to make yourself accountable to someone else. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not very accountable when it's just me, myself, and I. However, if I tell my husband about one of my goals, he makes dang sure that I am consistent. Okay, find yourself someone who can be that for you, who can help you stay consistent. Maybe it's a partner, a best friend, a sibling. And my very last tip for intuitively losing weight is to prioritize protein. If you have absolutely no idea where to start when it comes to eating healthy, more whole foods, start with protein. Long story short, a high protein intake will boost your metabolism, reduces your appetite, and changes several weight regulating hormones. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys next time.